Foot Clan, Week 16 is here, and I want to tell you about FantasyChamps.com, the sponsor of today's show. You can go on to FantasyChamps.com. Yeah, you can get those brand-new custom jerseys, and they're going to be adding some new colors soon. But I want to tell you about the championship trophies. Look, this is the time of year to upgrade your league. They have a gold fantasy football trophy. It is a glorious monument to your fantasy greatness. And what's cool is they only laser engrave into premium metal placards rather than those plastic products. They come with free custom laser engraving. You get the league name, you get the team names, you can get additional winner plates on the side of the trophy. This is how you upgrade your league. Check out fantasychamps.com and use the promo code BALLERS to save a little quiche.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from the Play Draft Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Happy holidays! May they be cheery and bright and filled with championships. Look, I realized this morning, Mike,
that's my name.
I mean, it just wraps up on Monday night on Christmas.
I know.
The memories for you and I are going to be very different this Christmas.
They certainly are, because it comes down to I will have Michael Crabtree playing Monday night. You will have Alshon playing Monday night. And more than likely, the way that our teams are stacked up, that's going to be for everything. It's going to be Crabtree versus Alshon.
Not if I put a call into Todd Gurley, and I said, upgrade you. Let's go 5 TDs this week. I don't want 4. I want 5. I want to put that game away. I don't want to be reliant. I like Crabtree this week. That's the problem. Yeah. You said it on the show yesterday. You've got your picks, and then after you make your picks, because they're knowledgeable, intelligent, unbiased, based on the facts, based on the hard evidence, at that point you begin to root against them if they're facing you.
It's quite the conundrum.
Oh, we've got a great show for you today. We have the fantasy forecast, the Week 16 matchups, starts of the week, Jason's boom boom kicker, and we've got some.
You ready, Jay?
Holiday awards.
Super ready.
Are you even able to speak today?
Barely, but I'm here.
Okay.
I'll chime in every now and then.
Some hot tea? Some lozenges?
Both are at the ready and in the belly.
I don't know what's going on with you.
I hope at the ready is not related to in the belly, as in they're going to come back from the belly.
No. Yeah, whoa.
All right.
Quick question of the day. We have this new Christmas Day Awards article up on the website by our editor, Kyle.
Oh, the Borgogan.
I tried, Kyle. Sorry. And he gives away a bunch of really creative, fun holiday awards to fantasy players. I'm going to give you guys 3 awards, their description, and I want to see if you can guess who the winner is, okay?
Oh, all right.
So some holiday awards today. This first one is the department store fake Santa.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
This guy smells just like beef and cheese. As a kid, you thought he was the real deal. Turned out to be a sad sack with no real pull in getting gifts.
Oh, man. All right.
All right,
Take your shot at the department store fake Santa.
Look, I know a guy who came on. You thought he was real. He was fake. But this championship week, Santa's coming to town, and I'm going Mike Gillisley here as the fake Santa, and I need you. Please provide one real gift.
Jason is rolling with the heart of stone, the innards of steel this weekend with Mike Gillisley, and I thought we were supposed to give our own winners to these awards.
Well, that's also known as guessing. That works fine, too.
I've got mine, and mine was, in fact, Mike Gillisley as well.
Was it really?
Because I had many, many shares of Gillisley, and there were many high kicks and cartwheels and celebrations through week 2. I thought I had a top
I don't
10
even remember
back.
who Mike Gillisley is.
Oh, you're gonna.
Yeah.
But the winner was Doug Martin.
Oh,
Doug Martin's the department store fake Santa. With some honorable mentions, I think Gillisley qualifies. Isaiah Crowell, Amir Abdullah.
Yeah, but I know
Abdullah's just not big enough.
I was going to say the padding isn't there. Gillisley's got padding.
Going
Crowell's got padding. Martin's got padding.
Maybe, yeah.
Going to Doug Martin is that brings me some holiday cheer.
You know who I think would look good in that outfit too? C.J. Anderson. I think CJ would look nice.
C.J. Anderson, running back 2. He's
yes,
solid.
this week. You're right, Mike.
On the season.
Oh, my gosh. If you had him as your RB2 all season, you ain't talking about this week.
Fair.
All right, this one's the Joseph and Mary Memorial Award.
All right.
Finding a bundle of riches and gold in the midst of a stinky, crowded manger. Okay, what do you?
I love
this
it.
must relate to a gym on a bad team.
Yeah, or the way I took it when I read that award description was kind of the committee back that is still usable and great. And to me, it was easy and obvious.
That's funny if we have the same answer, but I took it the way that Andy described it.
So who are your winners?
I'll hint that it's more towards what Jason was saying.
All right.
And
well, I don't need your hints.
This award is confusing.
I was already there. I'm going with Alex Collins.
I had the same answer.
Oh, did we just become best
High five.
friends?
Yes.
You guys are ridiculous. The winner is Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
All right. I would have rather seen Mark Ingram there.
Yeah, I would
than
not.
Alvin Kamara.
I would not call the Saints backfield situation a stinky, crowded
It
manger.
sure started that way.
It started
Adrian
crowded.
Peterson and Mark Ingram. They were a little bit stinky in the beginning.
Yeah.
Brooks, you had something to
Oh,
contribute
that's what I was
there?
going to point out. Adrian Peterson when we started.
Honorable mentions: Case Keenum, Robbie Anderson.
All right.
Quick detour, but Bill Barnwell of ESPN came out with a great article today
Bill Barnwell.
about all of the possible quarterbacks changing teams this year. He brings up the Bridgewater, Bradford, Keenum situation in Minnesota.
That's going to be tough.
Brings up the Bortles situation, the fifth-year option, $19 million, whether Bortles leaves town. Whether
Kirk
Alex
Cousins?
Smith could get traded. Yeah, Kirk Cousins was the only one in the franchise QB category. He also talks about like Breeze and Garoppolo. Those are the not leaving but great category. Brings up the Eli, Carson, Ryan Tannehill, kind of the aged vet. The young upside of A.J. McCarron and Jacoby Brissett. And then the Tyrod Taylor situation. And then you've still got Josh McCown.
Oh, going to play till he's 50.
All right, one last award. The Grinch Coach's Choice Award, the arch enemy of Christmas, a fun sucker of one and all. One with a heart, two sizes.
I missed
too
the
small.
part coach's choice. So
I
is this
missed the
supposed to be
same
a
thing.
coach? I can switch my answer real quick.
See, Brooks can
is-
clue us in on what this is.
yes.
Well, if it's a
Coaching?
coach, then I'm going Marvin
a fun
Lewis.
sucker? Oh, yeah. That's interesting. Let me.
John Ross wasn't able to get involved. It took an injury to Jeremy Hill before, Mixon was allowed to play with the big boys.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice there. Yeah. My choice goes to the
Giants?
My choice goes to the man who will be positive yards, will be on the opponent's side of the field on the 40, 4th and 1, and he will punt the ball every time.
John Fox?
That is John Fox.
Yeah, I don't know the answer yet, so I'm going to take my shot at Ben McAdoo
That's
for crumpling some of the value there.
John McAdoo representing mobsters from the 70s.
Although I want to shout out, if it was a player, I
It's
was
not.
prepared for Marcus Mariota.
Oh,
Sure.
mine
We're all
was-
excited for is Corey Davis or Eric Decker. Or
Mine was
Rashard
Amari
Matthews?
Cooper.
Yeah, all right.
No, so the winner is John Fox.
Yes!
And the reason is because choosing to punt every time kills the Christmas spirit and Jay Grizz's soul. Because Jay Grizz, he don't like to punt.
He's nothing if not a Bears fan.
Absolutely.
Did you know
Loyal.
that Grizzly Bears play to win? Every time.
Yeah,
Punting.
they fight to win.
Also, honorable mention Andy Reid when he refuses to feed Kareem. And Jeff Fisher just because.
Oh, come on.
It's really the Jeff
hear-
Fisher award.
You heard Jeff Fisher wants to get back into coaching?
I'm sure he does.
I want to be an astronaut. Just in case you're curious.
The
You can
only,
do anything, Andy.
Here's the other thing. The only upside of Jeff Fisher coming back is he will certainly become the losingest coach of all time.
Oh, that's true. You need
right
him to
now-
come back for a few games.
Right now he's got
probably
that
just
tie.
one. I'm guessing it'll happen in his first outing.
There should be a Hard Knocks version for following the fans of a Jeff Fisher team, and how you can turn on your own team and become depressed.
I genuinely do want him to come back.
Oh, no.
Because it's just
It's good for the show.
such fun.
Our ratings go way up with Jeff Fisher involved. 500 level broadcasts.
Jeff Fisher.
All right, Twitter, you can find us at the FF Ballers. The website's thefantasyfootballers.com. Follow and support this podcast. Get lots of perks, extra stuff, and stay with us all off-season. As a year-round fantasy football podcast, your support helps keep this show going all year round at jointhefoot.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube, Fantasy Sports Network, everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify. You can always listen, and we're always listening to you and your feedback on how we can make this show better. Last reminder here, FootClanGiveaway.com. We're giving away 3 custom fantasy football jerseys to listeners of the show. So if you go to FootClanGiveaway.com, you can enter. It's completely free to enter. And let's get into the news.
News and notes from around the league.
All right, I'm going to try to fly through these. We have a lot of matchups to get into. I want to illuminate some of these games this weekend so you know who to start and who to sit. But let's start here. The Jags confirmed Leonard Fournette is going to play on Sunday. So
Nice.
that's good news.
Yep.
If you're still around after what happened last week. Julius Thomas is on IR. O.J. Howard's on IR. So can't start them at the tight end position. Keenan Allen. He's not even on the injury report.
This is very interesting. Keenan Allen, because Keenan Allen this week against the Jets, fantastic matchup. He's been, just absolutely nuclear hot. The question for people will be, where's your trust level in Keenan Allen? The fact that he's not even on the injury report, I got to say this, it's full trust from this guy over here. I would fire him up with no hesitation. Does anyone disagree with me?
Nope.
All right.
Alan Hearns returned to practice. He said this morning he's not even close to 100%. I would guess that he plays in this game, though, because Marquise Lea's out.
Right.
And that will redistribute some of the, Keelan Cole, Dede Westbrook. It'll be those two and Hearns. Mickens in his outlier game is probably the one that takes the hit here.
Mickens hitting the Brickens?
That's what you say. And you're right. Tevin Coleman, limited in practice on Wednesday, remains in the concussion protocol, but is progressing towards playing in Week 16. Joe Mixon practicing in full, still in the protocol, but I think he's back this week.
Yeah, if he's practicing in full, he's on track.
Jason, you sent this out yesterday when it broke. Greg Zuerlein.
This is
huge.
big news.
He is the third most owned, as far as on ESPN platforms, player in Fantasy Championship Week right now. So if you have made it there, the only 2 players on more rosters ahead of Greg Zuerlein are Zuerlein.
I was going to say, I heard it and just let it go.
Are
Todd Zuerlein.
Do you guys have any guesses as to the 2 most owned?
Gurley.
Gurley is one of them.
Kareem Hunt?
Alvin Kamara is the other. So Greg Zuerlein, I did it again. That's your new name for sure. However, we might have to discuss a replacement for him in the Boom Boom Kicker of the Week.
Oh, no.
Okay, that makes sense. Devontae Adams was ruled out.
They signed Sam Ficken.
Okay.
Moving along.
We'll figure that out.
I mean, you just can't trust in championship
I'm just saying,
week.
you have to give the news that the kicker for the Rams, they're a very high-powered offense. If you're out,
He could have a great game.
His name is Ficken?
His name is Sam Ficken.
Is he good at kicking?
Oh! Hold on. Got to rewrite my boom boom. I'll be right back.
My heart can't handle that
I was
one.
going to say, Christmas is
Christmas came a week
fully
early.
here for Mike.
There is a jingle just
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
write itself.
Yeah.
Sam Ficken, good at kicking. Finger licking good.
All right. Hey, I want to bring this up. Devontae Parker didn't practice, has been dealing with an ankle injury. There are a number of players that didn't practice on Wednesday. Deshaun Jackson, Marquise Goodwin.
Devontae Adams is out.
Yes, I said
Already.
that, actually.
I apologize. I was thinking
Did I
about
not say
Sam
that? Did I not
Ficken.
say it, Brooks?
I don't remember that.
I do not remember you
After
saying that.
Better to say it
Ficken.
twice than not at all. Devontae Adams is out. And we'll have In and Out tomorrow, the segment on the show, giving you our latest breakdown on injuries and who's going to start this week. And as always, we'll have the game day alerts an hour before kickoff at jointhefoot.com. Without further ado, I think we need to get into these matchups.
Fantasy Forecast.
At this point with your voice, Jason, you need one of those like Doc Holliday handkerchiefs
Oh,
you got in
for
your
sure.
in your pocket so you can. You coughing up blood? Is that the
It's coming soon.
tuberculosis? Tuberculosis is the number one disease among fantasy football players. You didn't know that?
No, I did. And if it's proven anything, it's proven that I'm your huckleberry.
It's one of the top Oregon Trail diseases as well.
Oh,
So,
dysentery.
dysentery.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get into Week 16. Just to break down the schedule for you, no Thursday games. 2 Saturday games. The Colts, the Chargers, the Vikings take on the Rams. I have misspoken severely there.
Correct yourself.
There are several Saturday games. We have the Colts taking on the Ravens, and then we have the Vikings taking on the Packers. I am now accurate. Is this right?
You did it.
Okay. Just to clear it up for you so you know really clearly who's playing. And then we have 2 Monday night games this week, which is we talked about the Raiders and the Eagles. We also have Pittsburgh and Houston.
Correct.
And those are the Christmas Day games. So, as a reminder, as always, get those players out of your flex position if you are playing a Saturday player. For instance, I have Jerick McKinnon, moved him from the flex to the running back position so that I have flexibility. Let's start with this Colts-Ravens matchup. The Colts are 3-11, the Ravens 8-6, fighting for their playoff lives, and they are just about 2 touchdown favorites in this game. And the game only has a 41-point over-under, 41.5 point. It's a Saturday game. Vegas has what I think we all have. This game's in Baltimore, and we think that the Colts are going to get smacked. So who can you really start from the Colts with any level of confidence at all?
It's tough because T.Y. Hilton, he's going to be out for my lineups. I'm not looking to play him. Baby hands Jack Doyle continues to be nice. He's been a Christmas surprise. Just the volume for Jack Doyle is reliable. Frank Gore is the interesting name here because while the Ravens defense is very stout, I'm very much looking forward to playing their DST this weekend. On the season, 22nd against running backs and 24th in the past 6 weeks, giving up points, fantasy points to the running back position, which is a really interesting thing when it comes to Frank Gore, who is just an absolute machine.
He's also, I think it's worth noting, because when you're a team like the Colts and you don't have much to play for, it's worth noting that as Frank Gore has been getting a lot of volume lately, he is about 150 yards away from moving one spot higher on the all-time rushing.
He's got 2 games to get it.
Right, 2 games to get it. So,
I thought you were going to say he's 150 years old.
So that's next year. His birthday.
He's like a redwood.
Yeah, so, I think he will get volume, and if you need to play Frank Gore, there are certainly worse options out there.
You got to count the rings. Figure out how old he is.
Like if you had to start
that implies that you have cut Frank Gore in half.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah, so, I think if you're starting, say, Mike Gillislee.
Isn't there another narrative, though, with, season over, see what you got in Marlon Mack?
Oh, that's certainly there, except Chuck Pagano is still the head coach.
That's he
not
needs his own special award.
Yeah,
it's like the Wounded Duck Award.
Yeah, it's
limping along until you're relieved of duty.
But I'm with Jason that it seems like you would just chase the record for Frank Gore at this point. What else do you have?
Yeah, he's going to be 35 next year. This has
to be
done.
It. This has to be it for Frank Gore.
He's in a contract year, so he'd have to sign a new contract next year. I think he's done.
All right, the Ravens, though, haven't delivered on fantasy expectations at all this year, have not been a team you can count on. And here we are in Week 16, championship week, and I think there might be some secret value in Baltimore this week.
I absolutely love the Ravens. Mike Wallace has been exceptionally safe.
We're going to talk about Mike
Jeremy
Wallace.
Maclin is gone. The matchup is perfect. But I also think whenever when I'm making starts of the week, one of the easy, low-hanging pieces of fruit that you want is you look for home, large favorite teams, according to Vegas, at home, look at their starting running back. And that's Alex Collins, who I know had a down week last week, but
forget about it.
I am 100% fine forgetting about last week and playing Alex Collins. I think he's going to be a strong option.
I agree. And like I said, I hinted at, we're going to talk about Mike Wallace a
Mike
little
Wallace,
bit later.
325 receiving yards since week 12, which is 10th best in the league.
I guess we're talking about him right now.
I just throwing a little stat ski out there.
A little appetizer.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Otherwise, Joe Flacco, if you're in a desperate pinch,
I don't hate it.
it's not as bad as you think it is.
It feels real bad to play Joe Flacco, but
please don't. But if you need to, you might get lucky.
He's certainly the highest on my
And
rankings.
I like Ben Watson a lot. We're going to talk about him later.
oh my goodness.
There are legitimate starting options.
Hey, before we move to the next match, I want to thank today's sponsor, Upside. If you travel for work, listen up. That business trip you're about to book, do it over at Upside.com.
Take care of you.
Going to give you two of the best gifts anyone will give you this holiday season. The first is a free pair of Bose SoundLink wireless headphones so you can have some peace and quiet on that business trip. Second, I'm going to hook you up with a gift of a better business travel experience, and that's what you'll get when you book your next business trip over at Upside.com. Only Upside has customer service specialists who look out for you every step of the way on your business trip. They handle any problem that might pop up. Their team is hard at work 24/7 to make sure your flight, hotel, rental car all go off without a hitch. They're available on demand by chat, phone, and email whenever you need them. Like, we all know that when you're traveling, it can be the worst, but they handle it. They make it as smooth as possible. Right now, to get that free pair of Bose SoundLink wireless headphones, use our code FOOTBALLERS when you book your first business trip at Upside.com. That's code FOOTBALLERS at Upside.com to claim that free gift. Bose SoundLink wireless headphones. It's tremendous. You deserve a better business trip. Headphones available while supplies last. Must be first Upside purchase. $600 minimum purchase required. See site for complete details.
And we also want to thank Harry's. Look, Harry's Razors, they've been sponsoring us for a long time. We have used them for a long time. But lately, I've seen so many tweets from people hopping on Harry's saying, yeah, this is really good. Their handles are really weighty, and their 5-blade razors are exceptionally good. And
Just quality.
Yeah, it's just quality stuff at really good prices. In fact, the owners, Jeff and Andy, the owners of Harry's, they bought the factory in Germany so that it was the only way they could 100% guarantee high quality and affordable prices. It's really good, and they're so confident that right now they're giving the Foot Clan a deal where you can try their trial shave set for free. When you sign up at harrys.com/footballers, all you do is pay shipping. So to claim that's over a $13 value for free when you sign up if you cover shipping. Your free trial set includes a weighted ergonomic razor handle, 5 precision-engineered blades, rich lathering shave gel, a travel blade cover. It's really good. Just go to harrys.com/footballers.
Moving on to the next matchup, we have the Vikings traveling to, as my son calls it, Cheese Bay, to take on the Packers.
I like that.
He calls them the Cheese Bay Packers. It's a night game on Saturday night, which Saturday night's all right for fighting. That's what Elton John has told me.
Yeah, no, that's a fact.
I don't know if we have mentioned it before, but Devontae Adams is going to be out.
Oh, okay.
So just better to say it.
Brooks, have we said that already?
Who's out?
Devontae Adams is out, Brooks. Get him out of your lineup.
We got a 41-point over-under, and the Vikings are heavy favorites, as you would expect, because the Vikings are #very good. Now, on the Vikings side of the ball, Jay, Case Keenum, you playing him?
I'm playing him, but I think there are a lot of better options. I would
Really?
play Blake Bortles over him. The reason is this. I think he's got a safe floor because he's very good. I am championing him as a legitimately good quarterback. I think Case Keenum is an actual solid NFL quarterback. But I don't see how the Packers score. Without Devontae Adams, without Aaron Rodgers, I don't see them scoring more than 10 points, in which case I also don't see the Packers stopping the Vikings. And what could happen is what happened last week. Now, Case Keenum,
He had a really good fantasy week last week.
he was okay at fantasy, yes. He
was good. He was 25, 26 fantasy points.
No.
Yes,
I
he
think he was
did.
like
This
20.
is why you keep saying this all week long. But it's 25.5 in our league of record. He was 236-2, and yes, they blew him out. But nothing could have gone worse for that narrative than what happened last week, where they were up 40-0, and he still got it done. So I don't.
And same with Blake Bortles.
I mean, if a team
week.
can be up 40-0, if it's a hypothetical, you can be up 40-0. I want the quarterback.
Yeah, I don't have a problem when things are too good for a team. I'm still willing to play Case Keenum with confidence. The question is, what would that weather be like? Will the temperature dip so low that it hits that point where things become far more conducive and for the running back position? That would be my only concern here. But other than that,
right now it's 10 degrees is the projection.
The combination of both of those things. Also, I realized that our scoring format, he was all right, but he was the 20th quarterback last week. So it's not going to help you.
Right.
He's got a solid floor, but in championship week, usually it's two good teams going up against each other. I'm not saying you can't start him, but there are, I think, higher upside options. That's
a good way to put it. And he kind of just did what he's done. I mean, if you weren't happy with last week, you weren't happy with the previous, 4 of the previous 6 weeks.
Diggs and Thielen. Thielen is absolutely in. Do you play Diggs with confidence?
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be relative to the other options you have, but both guys are, great wide receivers on a good offense. It's going to be hard,
what you said is going to temper these guys just as much as Keenum.
Based on what I said, it's going to be like last week. Diggs had a great game because he got a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking 30 yards, 64, 32, 66, 32. Those are his last 5 games. So it's
if you don't get the touchdown,
that ceiling has not been there.
I'm not going to go as far as to say this is an almost upset of the week, but I think that the Packers will cover the spread. This is a 9-point spread.
Wow.
They're at home with the weather, with the divisional matchup. I absolutely think that they're going to come out and they're going to play hard. They have some disadvantages, obviously, with Hundley at quarterback and not having Devontae Adams. But I wouldn't be surprised if this game actually ended up being, 24-14. Or I guess they wouldn't cover the spread if that was 24-17, something like that.
Then where on the Green Bay side do you see the scoring coming from? Because Devontae Adams is out.
Yeah, I think it's both of the running backs will have some production in this game, not necessarily something where you'd want them outside of a flex option. Jamal Williams first, Aaron Jones second, Randall Cobb. Again, this is just something where I think the scoring is going to be low. Brett Hundley has shown the ability to get enough done, with his legs and with 1 or 2 touchdown passes that it's just my take on a game on the road for Minnesota where I think it'll be close. I think Minnesota wins it.
It'll be interesting to see where Brett Hundley goes because Devontae Adams was his number one target.
Randall Cobb could
you think
end up
being
Cobb? A sneaky play, but it's just hard because we haven't seen Cobb with Hundley without Devontae Adams.
In championship week to throw that coin.
Yeah, I mean, and we could be rolling too much narrative into this matchup. We could also just be going – you might be best off just going with what you know about Minnesota and their offense and what you know about Green Bay and their defense, which is giving up 13 touchdowns since Week 12, which is the most in the league.
Ooh, we'll just do a quick reminder. This is the one to watch for if somehow the upset were to happen. The Eagles could be affected for Monday night. So
that is correct. If the Packers win, then the Eagles are locked in at number 1, and you're talking about worrying about who they're going to start. If somebody's banged up, they're definitely not going to play on Monday night. Anything else from this game?
Nope.
Jerick McKinnon, 45 receiving yards per game since Week 12, 4th best in the league.
Yeah, I love both Vikings running backs in this game.
I hope McKinnon does some damage against them.
Yeah, I really think that he's going to.
The Buccaneers at 4-10 take on the 10-4 Panthers. Panthers are fighting to stay in the playoff race. 10-point favorites at home. 46.5-point over/under. Do you see anything in this game that you're expecting to surprise you? Right, you're starting Cam Newton. He's my number 1 quarterback on the week. Outside of Cam Newton and the auto start, Christian McCaffrey, you're auto starting him. Do you see this game going different than Vegas has it?
I think it might be a little bit closer. Just like last week against the Falcons, the Buccaneers are playing that spoiler role. They didn't, but he looked, he being Jameis Winston, looked pretty solid. So I could see a good game here, especially since the middle of the field with Thomas Davis is suspended this week. So the Carolina Panthers
suspended the middle of the field.
There is no middle of the field whatsoever.
But that's
just dirt.
That's the Cameron Brate area. And I think that, that could help open things up for Tampa Bay a little bit. But you can't really trust a running back here. You don't know who it's going to be. Last week it was nice because
on Tampa Bay's side?
Yeah, on Tampa Bay's, Doug Martin was inactive. But he's expected to be active, and we don't know who's going to be the starter. So you can't really trust a running back. I think you're going to start Mike Evans. I think you should.
Yes.
And I like Cameron Brate quite a bit. And Andy, you mentioned, is there anybody sneaky here? I don't know if when Christian McCaffrey had a lack of use, it was because of injury to Christian McCaffrey, and maybe that's just done. But this is a really solid matchup for Jonathan Stewart if he does get the work. And we saw a couple weeks ago, and really most of the last month, Jonathan Stewart's been pretty solid. So he might be a guy you could plug in and get a touchdown and a big run or two against this Tampa Bay defense that's pretty weak.
You know that Jonathan Stewart will get 11 carries. I mean, you know that that's going to happen. He has had 11 carries in all but one game this entire year, including the past 8 in a row, including last week. It just, wasn't good with him. So you're right, 5.5 yards per carry given up by Tampa. Maybe Stewart does something with one of those 11.
Would you rather start Jonathan Stewart or Mike Gillislee?
Jonathan Stewart.
Stewart by far. The Gillislee thing.
Asking for a friend.
We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about that. But I really don't want to draw too much attention to Gillislee. I really don't this week. That would be my fantasy approach because while he is a shot in the dark, there are a lot of those from a week-to-week basis, and been inactive for 6 weeks. It just scares me.
Yeah, there's
a chance he's used for.
That's why he's called the Heart of Stone this week.
For 2. He could be 2 handoffs.
Yeah.
He could be 3 touchdowns.
It could be 2 handoffs, 2 goal line handoffs.
Sure.
So, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yes, we are.
Is there anything else we need to cover?
Mike Evans, you feel good about him this week after last week's kind of more traditional Mike Evans performance?
Yeah, I feel very confident in Mike Evans. You have the Panthers defense who started the year very successfully on defense. However, the past 6 weeks, 31st against the quarterback, 32nd against the wide receiver position. There were some, big performances that kind of have inflated those numbers, but I still think that Mike Evans is solid. Jameis Winston, I'm forced to play him. I wish I had a better option because I have him ranked as a kind of like a high-level QB2.
Carolina has picked off opposing quarterbacks at home the last 2 weeks. 3 times they picked off Aaron Rodgers last week.
Right.
2 times they picked off Case Keenum the week before.
But those guys still had great games.
Right.
On top of that.
And that's like Jameis Winston's go-to move is throw interceptions and have a great fantasy game.
And the earlier in the season when Jameis played the Carolina Panthers, it was ugly. He was 21 of 38 for 210, no touchdowns, 2 picks.
The last thing I would mention, because we don't talk about Cam Newton too often, but he is all 3 of our number 1 quarterback this week. He is a great play in this matchup. Usually we gloss over the best guys, but this is championship week. You're going to need the best guys. If you're going like, oh, we've talked so much about X player or Y, these other quarterbacks. No, if you got Cam, play him.
Oh, yeah, you play Cam. In one note, I want to say about those Winston numbers against Carolina, that was during the stretch when he was struggling with the shoulder injury.
Is there any risk with that injury anymore?
I don't believe so.
I mean, do you have that fear in the back of your mind at all?
No, I do not believe it is a risk.
Would you play Jameis Winston? Let me give you some scenarios because people are staring down that big number from last week.
It's not just the last week, though. I mean, Jameis has been great since returning, over 250 yards and at least 2 scores in all 3 matchups.
So Jameis this week or Flacco against Indianapolis?
Jameis.
Yeah, Jameis.
Okay. Jameis or Kirk Cousins?
That's a good one.
That's the exact decision I'm looking at.
He has Denver.
I'll go Jameis.
Right now, it's Jameis for me.
Cousins is at home. I like that about him. I think I'm a little bit up on Cousins versus Jameis.
I don't blame you.
Jared Goff against Tennessee in Tennessee or Jameis Winston?
Oh, Jared Goff.
I think I'd go Goff.
Talk
there.
about him later.
Oh.
Yeah, you're putting your
it feels risky, but I do actually believe in Jared Goff this week.
Nothing is more risky than being the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. And they are 0-14. They're taking on the 4-10 Bears. this is a barn burner.
It's a coach off here.
38.5 point over under. The Bears are 6.5 point favorites. And I guess that means, based on Jason's Vegas logic, at home, almost a touchdown favorite, Jordan Howard.
Oh, certainly.
Is locked and loaded.
Yes.
Now, on the Bears side of the ball, it's been Dontrell Inman a couple weeks ago was the guy that you said, hey, I'll take a shot in the dark at wide receiver. That is transitioned now to Kendall Wright. So if you need somebody that is going to get heavily targeted, Wright has been targeted a ton over the last 2 weeks.
In fact, 24 times.
That is a lot.
In the past 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago against the Bengals, 10 receptions, 107 yards. Last week against Detroit, 7 for 81. So I'm with you, Andy, that I think Kendall Wright is in that wide receiver 3 range where you would actually have some confidence playing him.
Yeah, I've had to look at him as to whether or not I could pick him up and start him because we're in a 14-team, the Listener League for the championship. And my only worry here is that what we've seen Trubisky throwing the ball a lot, which is, a little bit more rare for him. And I don't expect that this game – those last 2 games were on the road, one in a dome, both good weather. There could be snow in this game. I don't expect this to be one of those – hey, let's put it in the hands of Trubisky and air it out type of games that allows Kendall Wright to have the volume that has allowed him to be successful the last couple weeks.
On the Brown side, Deshaun Kaiser has 19 interceptions and 6 fumbles lost this year.
Kaiser!
So
you failed me.
You could play the Bears D, and you could play them.
Love the Bears D.
Flurries, snow flurries, plus the weather, plus at home, plus the Deshaun Kaiser.
The Bears are a fantastic play. I mean, the Browns, this is why I like the Ravens so much last week. They're giving up, over 2 sacks a game. Kaiser's averaging almost 2 picks a game. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Hey, Judge, I resent the fact that you have listed the wide receivers here on our show doc as Corey Coleman, then Josh Gordon.
Good job, Judge.
There's no disrespect towards
it better
Josh
be
Gordon.
alphabetical, bro.
Do you need me to show you
Yeah,
his abs?
that's
I'll do it.
No, you've done that before many times.
That's it, Brooks.
Check your DMs.
check your DMs. Yeah, and text him some abs.
That
throughout
picture's
the day.
in my memory. I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
All right. Clearly not with the order that you have down here.
It's egregious.
You'll play Josh Gordon? Take the shot on him?
Yes, I will.
Wide receiver 2?
Yeah, I got him in that range. The Bears the last 6 weeks are 26th in against the wide receiver. And Josh Gordon last week wasn't a fantastic outing, but 5 for 47. I don't think that's he's let you down type of situation. No. So that's 3 games where Josh Gordon has been fully playable since returning. So I would play him.
Josh Gordon has fundamentally watered Jason each and every week. I mean, that is the one objective he has accomplished without fail.
We must not have water bet in week 14 then.
Do keep an eye on the weather, though.
Okay. I will, Mike.
Thank you.
The 8-6 Lions take on the 5-9 Bengals. The Bengals are 5-point home underdogs.
I can't believe they have 5 wins.
43 point over under. This game, weather shouldn't be a factor. We've talked about our confidence levels with Matthew Stafford, with Marvin Jones. Where are we with Golden Tate and then the Detroit backfield in this one? The Bengals are giving up the absolute most points to fantasy running backs, so you want to start somebody, but that's not been something that you can do with any confidence in Detroit for quite some time.
No. You
love
really,
Michael Keaton.
I love him. But it's really tough to trust someone here. If I had to start one, it would absolutely be Theo Riddick. Theo Riddick is the only guy that I know is going to be involved.
I thought about making him my start of the week. I was real close. I just didn't want to.
I don't blame you.
I just didn't do it because
he could be a great play. The problem is, what if they end up giving a lot of the work to Tion Green?
Yeah, or working Abdullah back in.
Exactly.
I mean, and what if a lot of the work means, about 13 total carries among 3 running backs, and they don't need to use Riddick through the air because the game script is not that way. So I hesitated, but I do like him, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, his snaps went from 2 weeks ago when he was tearing it up when Abdullah was out in the game against Tampa. He was at 70% snaps, right back down to 52%.
And the Lions running backs have shared 63 rushing yards per game, which is dead last in the league over the last 3 weeks. So you're talking about how do I distribute 63 yards? That's not
This is why
you just start somebody else.
This is why you start Matthew Stafford.
Right. Yep.
Because look,
run through the air.
It's a game that they're expected to win. They're playing the hapless Bengals right now, who are falling apart.
So hapless.
And
beyond hapless.
You can't
I've
run
never
the ball.
seen less hap in my life.
No hap available.
It's a very anti-hap team right now.
Not happening.
Oh,
Nice.
you win.
Not happening. Okay.
Speaking of the not happening Bengals.
Oh man,
You know who else
Joe
can't stop the
Mixon?
run?
Yeah,
is the Lions.
Yeah, we'll get into my start of the week, which is Mixon or Bernard. I mean that's where I'm going here. You want to see what you have in Joe Mixon. I expect him to be back, and the Lions cannot defend the running back throughout the season.
You expect once Joe Mixon is back, you expect the volume to completely return?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's had a couple weeks off, similarly to Devonta Freeman, when Freeman was out for a couple of weeks and came back and got all the volume back. So Mixon and A.J. Green and no one else. I mean, that's kind of my equation.
Certainly.
All right, the Dolphins take on the Chiefs in Arrowhead. 6-8 Dolphins, 8-6 Chiefs. Jay Cutler, by the way, said today he hasn't thought about 2018 at all.
Jay Cutler hasn't.
And I'm taking
thought
that
about
as
lunch.
I was gonna say I'm taking that as I haven't even thought about the year happening at all. Yeah. Like it might come, it might not. Today is the day. Jay Cutler wakes up. What am I doing today?
Lights that cigarette.
I'm a quarterback. Jason, you're hoping for big things from Kenyon Drake and the running back. The defense for the Chiefs against the running back position has been pretty vulnerable lately, giving up 22.5 fantasy points over the last 6 weeks. So Kenyon Drake, he's a must start this week. Devontae Parker talked about him being banged up. You're willing to start Jarvis Landry?
Absolutely.
Yes.
He's just been too involved. You can't bench Jarvis.
Outside of Jarvis and Drake, though, are you touching anybody else?
No.
Mike?
Nope.
If Parker's out, is Stills in that wide receiver 3 category?
Yes. If Parker is out, then Stills gets an upgrade for sure.
So last week I benched Alex Smith at home against the Chargers in favor of.
The process to bench Alex Smith was there.
He had a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Also known as he threw the ball to Tyreek Hill down the field.
And Kareem.
So what I'm saying is last week my gut told me Alex Smith set him down in favor of Nick Foles. Now, he had a very good game. Foles beat him out. I felt good about that call. This week.
Oh, tell me something good.
This week, I'm almost positive I'm starting Alex Smith.
Oh, yes.
Dolphins.
Starting Alex Smith.
Dolphins' defense is 28th against the fantasy quarterback. Now, they've been good against wide receivers, but that's not, it takes one play with Tyreek Hill. And Alex Smith, he makes his hay with Travis Kelce a lot of the time. The Dolphins can't guard the tight end. This game's at home. It's do or die for the Chiefs. And I think this place is going to be rocking. Now, I know it's going to be a little cold, but it's not going to be anything that they're not used to doing and not used to playing in. And if anything, that hurts the Floridians, right? It hurts the Dolphins playing on the road in the cold. My gut tells me Alex Smith is a solid start this week.
I agree.
The numbers say that as well, and I think I'm gonna hedge a little bit. I'm not going to go into Monday night with Foles and Jeffrey to beat you, Mike. I'm going to play Alex Smith this week. And
all right, I'm
going to put it on his back. Look, he's carried me along the way this year, and I think he's going to finish for fantasy owners in the right way.
I do not blame you at all for going with Smith. I think that he is the safer option over Nick Foles, apparently if you're a Philadelphia Eagle quarterback, your touchdown percentage
in the red zone
is just astronomical. That transferred over to Foles. I don't know if it'll continue. Not that I hate Foles this weekend, but I think Smith is the play that I would go with if I was running the team. Kareem Hunt.
Everybody else is easy on this team, right?
Yes.
You start Hunt, you start Hill, you start Kelce.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, Kenyon Drake, Jason, 6.5 targets per game, second highest in the league since week 12. Nice baseline.
That is the reason I'm worried about Damian Williams. Because
the baseline could be evaporated by Damian Williams.
Exactly.
I'm doing baselines for you guys.
There it was. Yeah, if Damian Williams comes back, he was at practice.
Williams.
Yeah, it doesn't quite have the same.
No.
We got a K Drake. I don't know. But, look, I love Kenyon Drake. He's been so solid lately. But if Damian Williams comes back, I think you're going to see a few of those targets. And obviously, it's going to siphon some touches away, which will hurt him.
All right, the Bills, 8-6, take on the Patriots, 11-3, after that miracle win by New England last week. Patriots are 12.5-point favorites, 47-point over-under. They're at home. And you could see some light rain in this game, but everything says a Patriots running back is going to do work in this game.
For sure.
And I think it's Dion Lewis. I think it's so much that I tried to put him in as my start of the week, and someone stole him before I had a chance.
Yeah, because I completely agree. This is why, and I guess now's the time to bring up Mike Gillislee's name. This is why you look at, over the last few weeks, I forget the stat, but I heard it from a good friend of the show, JJ Zacharyson, that over the last several weeks, Rex Burkhead has been in the top 5 as far as rushing goal line carries. Dion Lewis over that time has only had 1. So Rex Burkhead was the goal line back.
And actually, I think there's a strong case to be made that New England giving some sort of gargantuan workload to Dion Lewis doesn't make sense. They're an 11-3 team heading into the playoffs. Dion Lewis is crucial, especially with Burkhead's absence, to keep him healthy. It might not make sense to just throw everything Lewis and White's way. It's going to make sense to work Mike Gillislee in. And if the game, you talked about Vegas, the 12.5-point favorite, the Bills offense probably, they've not been very good. They've scored 14 points a game since week 12. That's 4th worst in the league. That 14 points is not going to get it done against New England. They're going to have a big lead. Yeah, I guess that's the argument for the Gillislee shot in the dark.
Exactly, but it is a shot in the dark. If Gillislee is not active, if you come out and he's just not active, I won't be shocked.
I actually will. I will be very shocked if Mike Gillislee is inactive again. Dion Lewis, like you're saying, Andy, maybe he gets a carry or 2 more, but they know who Dion Lewis is, which is a spectacular running back who you have to manage his touches.
Did they not put LeGarrette Blount inactive several times in years past and then bring him back to grind it out at the end of the year?
It sounds very familiar.
I mean, they've done this with.
They have
this
roles.
is what Belichick does.
They have roles, and now that the goal line back the role is open because Burkhead's gone, I think Gillislee slides right in.
Yeah, I mean, it's next man up. Okay, we got an injury. You're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a strong point. I mean, you got a shot. You going to play him against me, Mike?
No, because I have Carlos Hyde.
Okay.
Right. If you've got a good option. But
that's the message there.
Yeah, if you're like me where you got in on the back of Alfred Morris.
Brandon Cooks is the only wide receiver you can play in New England right now.
Yes.
They're only targeting the wide receiver position 13 times a game. It's 3rd lowest in the league. Gronkowski is who led them down the field. You got to love Gronkowski in this game against the Bills defense at home. He's probably got to make his hay early. I mean, that's what the equation in this game is.
Possibly.
Now on the other side of the coin is divisional matchup. The Bills they're in the playoffs right now.
Right.
So we look at it, and Vegas says, look, it doesn't matter that they're in the playoffs. We're going to give the Patriots 13 points, 12.5 points. And for fantasy owners, it probably doesn't matter that much either. I mean, LaShawn McCoy, you're starting him.
Yes.
You're starting Charles Clay if you need him.
If you have to.
So otherwise, Kelvin Benjamin's been worthless. You can't start a wide receiver, and you can't start Tyrod Taylor, in my opinion.
I think Charles Clay is a better play than if you have to.
What about better than Jack Doyle?
Not better than Doyle.
Okay.
But
right. Taking the temperature.
But Charles Clay is a low-end tight end 1, 9 targets last week, 5 receptions for 68 yards, 5 targets the week before. He's Mr. Necessary. He gets a large part of the target share from Tyrod Taylor, and game flow, I expect that they are going to have to throw the ball more than they want to.
Yeah, it's a compelling argument. You could get some great value out of Clay and put up a fight against your opponent with some advantage at the position.
Starts of the week.
All right, starts of the week. Week 16, playoff time. I say roll him back out there. Phillip Rivers is my start of the week at the quarterback position, taking on a Jets team that, while they have put up a fight in several games, they're an always break defense. At some point in the game,
Don't bend, break.
yeah, at some point in the game, it happens.
That's how I do yoga.
That's smart. But Phillip Rivers, with the assurity that, Keenan Allen is healthy, that he's going to be back in the fold, they're fighting for their playoff lives. Yes, they're on the road across the country, but I think that, I want to put my vote of confidence behind Phillip Rivers in this game. He's going to have Antonio Gates in there a little bit more than he's used to this year, but from a PPR perspective, I think Gates could be interesting. Phillip Rivers, start him up, start of the week. Mike, who do you got?
You know where I'm going, ladies and gentlemen, something that has never been done on this show before. This man has received 3 accolades this week. He was my rising star.
Dun, dun, dun.
He was my stream of the week.
Dun, dun, dun.
And now he's my start of the week, Blake Bortles.
Oh, my gosh. Hey,
Oh, sorry. That's a lot.
now, Mike, I noticed you snuck a little Kareem Hunt on the wall this
You
morning.
weren't supposed to see that.
Yeah, so you put him up there. Now, we have a little bet where you've got to throw – I got an Alshon Jeffrey jersey. I want on that
Yeah.
wall if I beat you this week.
Yes.
If Blake Bortles ends up in the top 3 this week, you got to buy a Blake Bortles jersey for this
if
office.
he's in the top 3, absolutely.
yeah, for sure.
But here's the
Right
thing.
now, since we're on the subject, we might need to get an Alex Smith jersey immediately because if Alex Smith comes through, then we're both champs.
Me and you,
right.
Jason?
Yeah, and we need him on the
Stop
wall.
derailing my Blake Bortles love fest over here.
Never.
This has to happen. The matchup is great against San Francisco. There's no worries there. On top of that, here's Blake Bortles' average over the last 3 games. 22 for 302 and 2 touchdowns. Blake Bortles is playing the best football of his career right now. The fact that Leonard Fournette is back, to me, is a positive thing.
No doubt.
This is not the running back is back. He's going to take all the touches and the touchdowns away.
I don't think Jason would like his start of the week if Todd Gurley was out.
Right.
So
I like
Blake Bortles.
I like Blake Bortles is my favorite streamer and
My favorite starter. My favorite Bortle.
it's my
Bortles Bortling is working out for people.
it certainly is.
All right, I'm going to need that King Godfrey horn.
Announcing.
Announcing this week's start of the week, King Godfrey. Jared Goff.
Dilly.
Dilly. Jared Goff has been a very solid quarterback this year for an exceptionally high-powered offense. But make no mistake, this offense has been run by, through, and under, and over, and on the back of Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
He's
One
the
more week, please.
He's the one that's been getting it done. But Jared Goff has an exceptionally safe floor to me and has the high ceiling. That's why I think if you've got him and you're in any one of those questionable situations, I would start Jared Goff. He has thrown, at least since his bye week back in week 8, he has thrown 2 touchdowns every single game except for once against Minnesota. He's throwing touchdowns. They're scoring points.
And
He's
Robert
got
Woods is
Robert
back.
Woods back. And Tennessee, surprisingly, has been very good against running backs. I know you don't want to hear that. And look, Todd Gurley's going to be fine.
You can't stop Todd.
You can't stop Todd Gurley. He's going to be fine. But if you can make it to where it's easier to pass than to run on Tennessee, who's over the last 6 weeks, they're number 1 against the running back position. On the season, they're number 2 as far as fantasy points given up.
It just makes me sad.
Yeah. I think that this game opens up for Goff. I think he's got 2 touchdowns locked and loaded. And it's one of those situations where if he throws 4 touchdowns,
I want to water bet you.
what is the water bet?
Keenum versus Goff.
Keenum versus
You've
Goff. Let's do it.
Did you guys just do that yesterday?
Did we do Keenum Goff on the show yesterday?
Oh, that would be
You
excellent.
guys have the memory of a goldfish.
Now, Brooks, you have the
didn't- I don't
capability
have
of knowing that information rather quickly.
I wrote it down yesterday, so I think.
no,
I had-
yesterday was
No,
I
what
didn't
we
log
said,
it.
didn't we say that we wanted to wait and see if
yes.
some players
That's
were
what
healthy?
I think it was
Okay.
discussed.
Ah, it's official.
Yeah.
Waterbed.
Write it down again, Brooks.
Yeah, I just feel like, while I don't disagree with your arguments, I feel like they are all there, plus some, for Case Keenum, both players on the road. Therefore, I want to bet you Keenum versus Goff.
Sure.
All right, my running back start of the week, mentioned it earlier. Detroit's 28th against the run. So it's Joe Mixon or Gio Bernard if Mixon is still out. Whoever it is in the backfield for Cincinnati, I know they're not playing for much, but Joe Mixon sure is. He is running hard. When he's been out there, he's given it everything. I think this is a great matchup for him. Joe Mixon's my start of the week.
Yeah, I'll get through mine pretty quick because we talked about him. Dion Lewis is my start of the week. I think he is just an absolutely excellent play. He will get a few more touches with Rex Burkhead out, maybe another reception or two, another carry or two, but he's not going to just all of a sudden be the workhorse. But the matchup is absolutely perfect. He is the number one most elusive running back in the league. You can't tackle this guy at first, and he's going to get enough opportunities against a bad defense. Dion Lewis, he'll be an RB1 this week.
My start of the week is Latavius Murray. Latavius.
Why not Jerick McKinnon?
I like the game script more for Latavius Murray. Like I said, I do like Jerick McKinnon a lot this week because Green Bay gives up receptions to the running back, and Jerick McKinnon, that's what he does. However, Latavius Murray, with the weather, with the game script, I think that he is an easy start here. Since week 5, when Latavius Murray finally hit the double digits after the unfortunate injury to Dalvin Cook, his pace since that time, a full season would put him at 258 carries. Latavius Murray is getting work. Whether or not you like him, he's on a great offense. Great touchdown upside this week. I think he's a really, really solid play.
Yeah, you could go from not liking him to loving him very quickly this week if you start him in that matchup.
Yes.
I don't think this has ever been done. I'm going for the...
I don't know who it is.
I'm going for the trilogy. This is what we're calling this. The trilogy. I'm going with Michael Crabtree.
All
For the
right.
third consecutive week. I cannot resist 17 targets he delivered on the promise last week as a top 10 wide receiver. Now, I don't like it specifically because Mike has him against me this week, but Crabtree had 17 targets, 2 touchdowns, multiple end zone targets that he didn't come down with, and he's on Monday Night Football against the Eagles. I think that he's the guy. I mean, look, even if Amari Cooper's back, I like Crabtree this week. He's the start of the week.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think most people that have him will be starting him. My start
Was that
of
a
the
shot
week,
at my start of the week?
just a itty bitty.
Uh-huh.
My start of this week, you might say, a start is born. If you've heard me constantly say,
might not,
a
though.
star is born, because Juju Smith-Schuster is a legit, really, really good wide receiver. I truly believe that he is. I mean, just look at the history of the Steelers being able to draft rock star wide receivers, whether it was Mike Wallace or Emmanuel Sanders or, I don't know, Antonio Brown or Juju Smith-Schuster. He's shown it on the field. He's done it. You know, you might go, oh, Big Ben on the road. He's done it on the road this year. His biggest games, in Detroit, was 7 for 193 and a touchdown. He also had, another big game against Indy, 5 for 97 and a touchdown on the road. So this is a road game, but it's a great matchup against Houston that has not been able to stop wide receivers. Antonio Brown is out. And if you look at last game, Antonio Brown missed most of the game. And the benefactor was not Martavis Bryant, who finished the game, I think, under 60% snap percentage. Juju Smith-Schuster was like 95%. He's the guy that's going to be the beneficiary. I think Juju has a great game. He's a top 24 wide receiver to me.
Mike?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment. I mean, Antonio Brown being out, he's averaging 12 targets a game. Right?
Yeah.
That's 12 targets that have to go somewhere.
All Lev Bell.
Yeah, I was going to say it'll probably
Some
go
will
like
go to Lev, but
8 targets will be extra, distributed.
Makes
but,
Jesse James interesting too. But
Oh,
you're
yes.
right. Yes, Juju, good start. I don't think it's very bold saying top 24 with Juju this week, though.
No,
Oh,
I don't think it's bold at
I-
all.
I
It's
agree.
consensus 14 for you guys right now.
Yeah, my goal is not to necessarily be bold, just to call it as it is.
Yeah, I like
Right.
it. My start of the week is Mike Wallace. He might have been on your waiver wire. You might have been hurting at the wide receiver position because Antonio Brown is out and you could not pick up the start is born. Mike Wallace against Indianapolis. The matchup is fantastic. Since the bye week for the Ravens, Mike Wallace, He's averaging 5 for 76. People, Mike Wallace is doing serious work. The opportunity for a touchdown is elevated this week against Indianapolis's terrible secondary. We've talked about we like Joe Flacco as a really low-end streamer. That he's going to throw the ball to Mike Wallace. Jeremy Maclin is likely out, so I think that Mike Wallace is a fantastic start.
Yeah, I got the perfect piggyback there, and it's Ben Watson. He's my tight end start of the week. The Colts, as you said, they struggle in the secondary. They struggle against tight ends, 20th over the last 6 weeks. Last week, Ben Watson came out and gave you 15 fantasy points, right around that, 4 for 74 and a touchdown. It's a great week. Other than the week he missed, he's been 3 or more receptions. I think he's a nice start at the tight end position and a way to benefit from what we're seeing this week from the Baltimore offense.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the guy that most leagues I think you're going to be able to get off of waivers, Cameron Brate. O.J. Howard has been placed on IR for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we don't yet know the health of Deshaun Jackson. That's something we'll continue to monitor. But if he is out, it gives an extra bump to Cameron Brate, who now does not have to split those tight end targets. As I said earlier, Thomas Davis, solid linebacker for the Carolina Panthers, is out. The Panthers have given up a touchdown to a tight end the last 2 weeks. I think you see Cameron Brate come back to, he had that stretch early in the season with Jameis Winston, 4 games in a row with a touchdown.
And last season.
Yeah, and last season. So I think, I've got Charles Clay in the listener league. I'm starting him. I'm glad to hear, Mike, that you think he's still Mr. Necessary, but I would have preferred Cameron Brate over Charles Clay. So, who would you start out of those two?
If I had to pick one, to go Cameron Brate because of the upside of the touchdowns. Clay, of course, can score. Maybe Charles Clay revisits his last year.
The playoffs, Charles Clay.
Well, he was amazing. I was pretty shocked when I went in to put my starts of the week in, because I was last, that I did not see this tight end for Jason. And that is Double E, Eric Ebron. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we can safely start Eric Ebron. It's a crazy world. Brave new world we're heading into 2018.
You don't want to say those words out loud because they're going to bite you in the butt.
Wait a minute. I just want to verify our starts of the week championship, Blake Bortles and Eric Ebron.
This is where we are.
You don't win the championship at the draft, my friends.
The last 2 weeks he has
with good players.
Not necessarily, yeah.
Apparently.
It's true.
He has caught 15 of 18 targets in the last 2 weeks. He gets to play the not happening Bengals. He is my highest-rated tight end behind the starting 7. So if you don't have one of those auto tight ends and Ebron was available on your wire, I think there should be a strong chance that at least one of these 3 starting tight ends is on your waiver wire if you are struggling with your decision of you don't like who you have, or you were already streaming. And I think that these are 3 very solid options.
All right. It's time.
Jason Moore's ironclad, locked and loaded, 100% guaranteed boom boom kicker of the week.
If you had Greg Zuerlein, well, his back was aching and delicate. So this week I recommend the Eagles' Jake Elliott.
That's my favorite so far.
All right. I did it. I tried to rhyme both
It was
names.
well crafted.
Tried to get the Jake and the Elliott in there.
It was well crafted. It was well done. And it's actually a good recommendation.
I hope so.
So it checks all the boxes. All right, we'll be back tomorrow with the rest of the matchups. Get you ready for the weekend. And it's going to be a good one. Going to be a lot of fun.
You have to be hoping that Sam Ficken stays around.
Oh, I'm itching for some Ficken.
Check out draft.com/ballers for your DFS needs this weekend. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.